Welcome to Attican Plays, Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. Alright, hi, this is Attican and welcome to part 13 of our second playthrough of Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic. We'll start with a quick little view right here and say Simon Lenz is that better. I think that's what you were talking about when you mentioned the unfinished path. I don't know when I fixed it. It obviously was after the video where you noticed that it was unfinished, and now because this was already done, but it is finished. So hopefully you can sleep well now. All right, so let's move on to this construction conundrum. I've had construction stalled, and I got some great comments from folks. So let's go take a quick look. All right, so here's the comments. I got comments from Johnny, from Modak, and from James Quell. And basically, Johnny and Modak's comments were that you kind of need to build all the roads first to make sure that you can get to the buildings you're trying to build. So I kind of took that one first and looked at it and went in here and basically I turned off auto search for all three of the construction offices. And you'll notice I even tried moving gravel over here, hoping there was some kind of issue with that, which didn't make any sense now that I think about it. But anyway, the gravel's more convenient anyway. So now they're all getting their gravel from here. They're getting stuff from over here as they were. They're getting a lot of stuff from right here from this open storage, steel, prefab panels, bricks, wood, and boards. And I'll show you about woods and boards here in a minute. Some improvements there. And so anyway, I kind of took Modak and Johnny's suggestion. I turned off all this stuff, turned off all the construction on, well, basically I shut it down here at the construction office. And then I went back and added a few things. And I was able to build these paths and this flat. And I think we're getting something done. No, this isn't getting anywhere anyway. But the problem with that approach is that's incredibly intensive micromanagement, and it's not how I want to play now. I'm not one of those people who thinks that if the game doesn't work the way I want it to work, it's a bad game, because I heard a lot of that kind of BS comments about Railway Empire when it first came out. Oh, a train should do this. Well, the game should do what the game does, but I really do prefer being able to lay out these blocks, plan them out, and get them all set up, including all the pathing, because you have to be able to see, can this guy walk? Where can he walk? You know, you need to be able to tell that. Where, how far do I? And yes, these saves are getting irritating. They are. They really are getting irritating. But I've had a number of crashes, so I'm going to keep them on a quick interval for the time being. Okay, so. But that's very intensive to have to turn them all on, turn them all off. What I'd really rather do is be able to lay out a section of my whole neighborhood, get it all planned out, and then just trust that our construction offices can handle it. Another comment came from James Quell, and that comment was basically, I'll summarize this for you, build your own paths, because his comment was, what happens is that these paths, particularly these internal ones like this, see, it needs gravel, it needs work days. It's highly possible that our gravel delivery trucks, our dumpers, are trying to dump to this, so they go get the gravel, but then they can't make it back here. And the system it builds roads as it can get to them. So it handles the roads okay. Like it'll build this section, and then it'll realize, okay, now I can get to this section, and I'll start building this section when the time comes. But the paths, it's like it tries to build them all at once. And you can kind of see that in the way, like if you go here and you go to paths and you hit this, well, there, look at that. It just did the auto build on all of them. So it's got them all set to build, but they're not going to build. This is a little messed up. This is an opportunity for our developer buddy. But at any rate, James' comment was build your own paths, just auto build them. So I'm going to do that. We're going to auto build these paths if I can find them all. I've got a lot of pathing in here because you know, I planned this out so that all these buildings could walk where they needed to walk. I mean, if you can't build a plan where the walkers can get where they need to walk, it's not a very good plan. And the tool isn't, you know, the idea of planning your city in advance is kind of thrown out the window if that's the situation. So let me see if I can find all the paths and get them queued up. And if this works, next time I will know to set up my neighborhood. In fact, it might even possibly be within this video. Set up my neighborhood and then turn on the construction. So let me see here. What do we got? Did I get them all? No, that's still a path. And that's a path. Let's see. Okay, so, and what I'd like to do now is just turn back on the auto search. And what we could do conceivably is think about having auto search for everything except footpaths and see how that works. So let's see if we can turn this back on for all three of these. Whoa, sorry, I'm getting some serious, awful lag here. Now, I wonder if any of these, if I had set the construction off. No, that one looks okay. Construction is not assigned to an office. I wonder why it wouldn't be. No, look, right back. Look at this. Now, here's my other complaint. Forgive me. Where's he trying to go? Any idea? I guess he's trying to go right here somewhere. There's another path. Maybe that's it. Did he move? He's still not moving. Look at this. See, all these gravel trucks are held up by these guys. Where's he trying to go? Same spot. And of course it's nighttime, so we can't see anything. Of course we have a fire. When I'm playing off camera, I spend an awful lot of time opening and closing fire messages and waiting on daytime. It honestly gets a little old. So this one, he was messed up, so maybe I'm going to have to kill him. All right, so these guys, are they working? Now, these are ones bringing gravel over here, so the fact that that one went somewhere is not that encouraging. So let's see if we can throw a couple more trucks back into this mix, couple of dumpers. And he goes off. And let's see if he gets over here and gets a question mark or if he actually goes to work. So he loads up with gravel and gets a question mark. Okay, so we're still not there. Good. Okay. So where's your problem? Same area. Thought I built that. Let's see, did his problem get cleared? It might have. Where is your problem? Same area. Is there another path here or something that I'm not seeing? Aha. But he's trying to build that path right there. Look at that. He took off. Well, James, I think you may be on to something. I think if we build our own paths, but Mr. Developer, they should only try to build these paths when they can get to them, not when they can't get to them. So it needs to work just like the roads. That's my opinion. All right, so we should actually be doing construction now. Are we actually doing construction? Construction is not signed to an office. Why not? Oh, I think I might have had that one turned off, possibly. And you can't see when you have a this needs to be fixed too. This interface where I can't see what's going on down here. That's no good. And these layers. See, every time I hit this, I'm actually hitting something underneath it. The layer, when you layer a window, that you should not be able to click stuff underneath that layer. That is no good. Construction is stopped. No workers. Crap. Well, at least an office is working on it now. And here, look at this. We've actually got some construction going on this flat. We're using gravel and asphalt and concrete. We're getting our work days done. All right, so we actually seem to be building stuff. So hopefully we'll start seeing some construction going. If we can get better with the construction, I'll start using it more and more. All right, so so maybe the pathing is the secret here, because I really want it to work. Personally, I want it to work so that I can just let it auto search and go do what it needs to do without a ton of micromanagement. I don't mind having to think, okay, what mix of vehicles do I need? How many offices do I need? Where do I need my storage? That kind. Where am I going to get my staff? I don't. That's cool, but to have to go in there and literally change each building as I go along and turn them on as I go along, that would not be an acceptable way to play for me. I could adapt to it, but wouldn't like it. All right, so there's construction. There's our little path we fixed. What else we got going? Oh, okay. What did I do in the meantime? So I went off and played a little bit more. And as soon as the save finishes, I'll show you what I did. Okay, I went out here, and I know I said we're going to do coal next in as a step toward the steel, and don't worry, we will. But I wanted to get fire protection for these farms. And I thought about it, so I really looked at the fire protection range for the fire station we have here in our main city in Refinery Ropey. And you can see it goes out, it actually goes all the way out to this station and a little bit of this, but it doesn't get this over here to that farm, and it doesn't get this farm. So I decided to put a fire station out here. Get rid of that one. Where did I put it? Right there. So now I have a fire station that goes this way, and notice it gets both of those farms, which is great, although I still am missing this farm. Still need to fix that farm. And so as I started to build this, I thought, yeah, but I don't want to just build a city for no purpose other than that. Let's give it something that can produce. And I realized I still hadn't set up boards. So I set up a board industry out here with a lumber, a wood cutting post, and a sawmill. And it's an interesting thing about these two. In fact, let me go to the spreadsheet and I'll show you what I mean. Well, no. First, let's look here. Sorry. If we look at, if I was going to construct a new wood cutting post, notice what it says. It says maximum number of workers 30, maximum daily production per worker 6.3. So according to that, each worker could produce, running efficiently, 6.3 tons of wood. Now that is a bit inconsistent with the way it does other industries. So if we look at the sawmill, it says maximum number of workers 20, maximum production per work day 140 tons of boards. And that, by the way, is much more consistent with the way that the other industries are set up. So I think there's an opportunity here to get that wood cutting post to make a little more sense, or to at least be consistent. But if we read it literally, it says 30 workers per worker 6. So that's 180 tons of wood you should be able to produce, 180 tons of wood. Your sawmill needs max consumption of 180 tons of wood. Ta-da, you got a 1-to-1 match. It should work beautifully. So one logging camp or wood cutting post should be able to provide one sawmill with what it needs. Well, it doesn't. It doesn't even come close. Notice the production of this sawmill is nothing. And I do know there's a, they have to be able to go out and grab these the wood out here. And we may even be, it may have just stripped out its whole area. It doesn't give an area, so I don't know how far they can go. That'd be another opportunity maybe. If it's going to have an area, you should be able to see it after it's built. You can see it when you're building it. Wood cutting post. So you can go out here and see it's going to cut down trees all through here or whatever. So do I have to go in? Oh, here we go. See, it's just got a few trees left that it can cut down, I guess. If I put it here, that should be able to handle all that. I don't know what to say. I'm not sure how that works. If anybody knows, let me know how this wood cutting works. Am I expected to go out and just keep continually pushing woodcutter posts farther and farther away? If I am, that's going to be a pain, to put it mildly. And but it could be done. And so here's your wood cutting. It says it's operating without issues, but it's not providing very much wood, and this sawmill is down as much as it's up. In fact, I wonder if we could look at its production buildings. Oh, it's probably, let's see, what would it be? Probably considered a factory. Yep, here it is, 0% production. We don't have any historical data, but it's down more than it's up, because it quickly goes through the wood you get. And by the way, I've got it set up over here. I've got a train set up to load boards, and you can see we're getting some boards, and we've made at least one shipment, maybe two. So this little town right here, the main purpose was to get that fire station, but it's also set up so all these can walk over here to a small store. Notice how perfectly happy they are. They can walk to a small store, and from that small store they can get to the cinema and pub and hospital. They can all walk to this kindergarten right here to put their kiddies in kindergarten while they go work. There's a school for everybody over here that they can all walk to. So we need more teachers up here, in fact, which will get me to the next thing we're going to talk about here in a minute. Well, down the road. We got a bunch of things to cover here. And I apologize, I'm just talking, not playing, but there's a lot to cover here. So the other thing I did was we got this thing running, got the sawmill. And by the way, put a gas station here. It's very important you have a nearby gas station, because these vehicles for the the wood cutting do run out of fuel. And if you have those slow things running off to Timbuktu to get gas, you're in trouble. So put that in. And now decide to add more farms, because we're just not. I want to keep crops in here. Notice we've got a lot of crops now. Now it's working well. I want to keep crops in here, and I want to keep crops in here so that we're not importing crops, and I want to keep crops in here, so we're not importing crops. And in fact, an improvement opportunity for this right here would be to turn this into a silo instead of a warehouse. I may even go back and do that. But anyway, to expand the capacity. But at any rate, I want this train that's taking crops up here to constantly just come back here, load as quick as it can, and go off. Same thing over here. I want these crops to work. So here we've got a train that is actually unloading as we speak. Let's see. And you'll notice this is getting pretty, yeah, this is full. We've got a full storage here. So now we've got some crops going. And the reason is I've added another farm over here. This farm is within the range of the new fire station. And it's set up using the AI key or the all key. I'm not sure which. I'm going to call it the AI key because I think it's a cool name. I'm basically using my slight modification of his model. I've got 4 tractors, 6 harvesters, and 2 trucks going out there. I've got a lot of, if you'll notice, a lot of big fields, but a mix of big, medium, and small, depending on where they fit in the geography. The farm is feeding into a grain storage, and the grain storage, I have trucks lined up here loading up the grain and taking it to another silo over here, and then the silo here is offloading into a large train, a box car right here. You can see that it's gathering up crops, and it is set to run over here to our distribution center. So we've got the centralized distribution center, so it'll run over here and throw stuff in that silo. So now we've got we've got 4 large agro-farms, 2 coming in by train, 2 coming in by truck, coming into our distribution center so that we have plenty of crops. And just some quick notes on track design here. Followed our 6-ton rule and made sure I got this out far enough. Actually got it maybe a little even too far, which is fine. And this is set up to run up through here, have its own supply. Very important, it has a supply that it reaches. And that supply is more for the boards, because the boards would come up, and what I did was I repurposed this area. We don't have so much traffic coming into Cara de Bog that we necessarily have to have all 3 for the other stuff. So I repurposed this line right here. If you remember, it used to come up and link into these 2. Now it's an independent line, and I've got a line coming up like this that then goes from 2 double track down into the 1 delivery track, and then comes back out, and that's for the boards to come in and anything else we might want to set up over here to come in and make their deliveries into Cara de Bog. And we have the rest of the stuff still continues to use these 2 lines, which these 2 platforms, which works just fine. And I will tell you that a key thing is follow that rule. Make sure that these intersections are long enough. This one right here, I actually had it slightly short. I don't mean much, just barely too short. This track was coming in back here, and it was slightly too short, and sure enough, the right combination of trains hitting at just the right time choked the whole system. So that you've got to make sure you follow that rule of the 6-ton rule. And the other one I would note is right here. Okay, right here, I cleaned this up. I was trying to follow the official guides, semaphore guides rules, and put some more junctions in here, and kind of every time you come to an intersection, chain in, single exit out. And what I finally did to really clean it up was I'm just treating this whole area right here as a single block. So there's going to only be 1 train in there at a time. So that train that's in there, everybody else is going to come up and stop and wait for that train to go through. However, doing it like this, it works all the time, because now any train that's coming, see that one just went green? That's because that other train cleared out. So there's 2 things you have to do. You have to make sure that when you have a complex junction like this, right now, at this current state of the signals, it's best to treat it as a single block and have 1 train go through at a time. And later on, if we get better signals that can actually recognize you're going off to the right, you don't have to worry about the rest of it. Then we can, fancy them up more or get more throughput. But for now, let's just get throughput. Don't worry about mass throughput. And so cut them off like this at each of the main entry points. And the other key is make sure that there's enough room for the entire train to get completely out of that block so that it clears it for the next train to come into that block. So there has to be enough room to get completely out. And that's usually not a problem, but you've got to be able to completely exit before you can clear that intersection. So like if this thing here was a little tighter, a train would come up like this and maybe hang out, then you would block up this whole thing and gum up the works for everybody and really kill your economy, kill your ability to provide goods to your people, just kill your whole system. All right, so let's see, what did we talk about? We talked about boards, we talked about fire coverage, we talked about new crops, we talked about our much improved crops, we talked about our construction, and hopefully we're actually getting somewhere now. Not seeing a lot of signs of it, but yeah, it looks like that got some progress. Yeah, we're slowly making progress on the construction. Notice our money is going up nicely. Let's see. Okay, we made pretty good money last month. We exported, and that was a month without close, and we did that well. We did a lot of iron, bitumen, and fuel. Notice that iron is just from those two plants is about the same as a bitumen or fuel, so kind of half a refinery. That's pretty good. We're still making good money on coal. We're exporting some bricks, alcohol, food, and look at this, boards, 76,000 rubles. So again, we're trying to follow the pattern of supply stuff to your citizens first and export all the overage. And by the way, the boards that are down here, there are trucks that pick them up, both boards and wood, and take them to this storage right here so that we have plenty of boards, plenty of wood, and then we're importing and we're moving the steel from over at the other site. And I really should limit all this. Yeah, 2020, 2020, that would be a good way to do it. I'm clicking that to make sure that right now it's got too much wood, too many boards. And why is that? Because it can go out and get the wood and boards from the ones we're creating, and so it has the opportunity to make more than we need. So let's limit everything to 20 so that we make sure we get a nice mixture of everything we might need here in this storage for our construction. All right. Wow, that's a lot of talking. I'm sorry. What else is there to go into? All right, what I'd really like to do now is walk through how to plan one of these neighborhoods. We kind of did it backwards. I did the, and I can't go a video without saying, give me the ability to move quickly between these things, but I am getting better at finding them anyway. So here's Ironton. Here's our town that's making our iron. Notice we've got it filling up now. I actually have 4 trains running right now, delivering iron up to Modak in order to keep up with this, because it's doing just fine. Look at this. We got full. We actually really should have more iron ore processing. We could be doing even more because our iron ore mine, look at it, 76% yield, lots of workers. It's humming. It's just really creating a lot of iron ore. So we're not having to import iron ore. In fact, I don't even have it turned on anywhere. And that's why we're able to just get so much of this stuff going out. So here we go. We've got a new train coming in. He'll get loaded up and take off. And so this is working really well. Our happiness is outstanding. Look at this. Really, really good happiness. So this is a really nice deal. Now, I love the mountainside build. To me, that looks like a city that's built around an iron mine or an iron ore mine, because it's got stuff up on the hill people, it's got the river people down here, it's got the downtown people, and they all interact. And they're all on the hillside. It's just I like this one. That one's cool. I like that so much better than these overly planned, perfectly lined up, perfectly flat cities, I think they're boring. Okay, so there's Ironton. So what we want to do now is set up, we could call it Colton, I guess, but we want coal. And I had marked way back when I first started this playthrough, seems like 6 months ago, to do coal up here. So let's just see. And Modak asks, would it be possible to show what are the characteristics of a really great productive yield? So like we got, I found this one up here, 76%. I mean, that's awesome. 25 and even 30 seems like a pretty good yield for one of these coal or iron ore mines. So let's go up here and see if I can show you. Right here is what you're looking for. You are looking for, it's super simple. Lots and lots of the deep green. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the deep green. And you want to get your mine in that location where it's just hitting. So I think right there is just perfect. I mean, look at that. Should be a very high yield. Now, how high it is, I don't know. I don't know how high it's going to be. But I can tell you a couple things. One is that's going to be a really good spot because there's a lot of deep green there. That's going to be a good. It should be a good yield. We'll build it and see. So that should be a really good spot. I can tell you another thing is, and I was happy about this. When I did this one, it should be a really good spot. But if you'll notice, I did a ton of terraforming. I mean, I built this mountain, this flat spot up here. That's man-made. I pushed earth around with these tools here until I had this spot that I could get all these flats up here that I wanted. And so, and I was a little concerned that, am I messing up my yield? And apparently not. Apparently you still get that high yield. And look at that, 160 people are producing 286 tons of iron ore a day. Very nice. All right, so let's build one over here with the coal, and let's just see what we get. Well, I'll just go ahead and build it. We'll take a little chance that it won't catch on fire on us before we get done. But we'll put a coal mine in right there. And let's say we're going to run the coal probably... where are we going to put our city for it? Probably put our city for it. You know what? Oh, is that better? No, it's the same one. I saw that and thought, oh my word, that's even better. No, this is it. We'll probably run our city. Let's put our let's plan on putting a coal town right down here, similar to the way we did the iron. Now the thing about coal is, let's go back and look at that. Well, let me plop this down and build it, so we'll see what we've got. All right. So let's plan on putting, like I said, coal right down here, and then we'll ship it all over to the iron. So I'm actually going. Let's just go ahead and build this and see what our yield is. And I want. Sorry, this saves. Okay, I'm gonna turn off auto build because I want to be able to plan a city, not build it. We're building this kind of in advance, just for the demonstration of the yield. So you saw it had a lot of deep green around it, and let's just see what we get. 57%. That's pretty good. Really hard to get one. That's this. Honestly, for me, in my limited experience, that 76% yield I've got up here, that's the highest yield I've had yet on an iron ore or coal ore mine. But we do know if we can keep a lot of people in at 57%, we will be producing a lot of coal ore. That's not a problem. But now what I wanted to show is, let's go out and plan our little city for the coal. Okay, let's go to our spreadsheet and let's build out a coal And how do we want to do it? I think, I think what we're going to do for the coal, we got lots of choices here. This is kind of fun. There's always many ways we can do this one. I think for this one, I'd like to build them as, actually I'd like to build them as two pieces and they'll talk to each other. So we're going to have a piece that where people live around that coal mine. And then we're going to have a piece where people live around the coal ore processing and the shipping, just like we did for Ironton. And so, but we can use the same hospital, I think. Let me double check that. Hospital, and we can use this downtown and the fire station. All right, okay, that's telling us something right there. Okay, we want to build, okay, change of plans. We're going to put Colton right down in here. So we're going to have the workers for this are going to work right down in here. Ah, shucks. I take that back. We don't have fire coverage for that coal mine. All right, we're going to need another fire station, another hospital. So I think what we're looking at now is we'll push coal this way. We'll put a hospital, fire, and what have you near this marker right here in this area. That will serve up here and also serve over here where we'll put our steel mill. Our steel mill will be here surrounded by neighborhoods, and then we'll have a centralized cinema, hospital, and fire right here. Okay, so that means that up here we just need good transportation between these two. We can do buses or trains, it doesn't matter. And what we can do, I think, to make sure that I'm right, we've got 57% yield and we haven't done anything to any of this. Let's just build around it and see if we still have 57% yield. That'll confirm for us that that's exactly how it works. So let's just first of all see if we can get off this little mountain with a road. It looks like it's going to be easy. It looks like it's going to be like easy peasy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we can definitely get off this mountain. No problemo. But I do want to be able to walk. I want everybody to walk to work. I mean, why not? Let's see. So we can surround that coal mine with housing. And in fact, we could put the center of our little community right around the coal mine and then put the housing right around that, and that should allow everybody to walk everywhere they need to go. Huh. So what all do we want up here? Up here we want to have, I think what we can do, well, let's see, this is going to be a downtown. I'll tell you what, we will put, make this a real downtown. This is going to be a downtown with the cinema and the hospital and a big shopping center and all that cool stuff. And then up here, we'll just put the housing. Yeah, that'll even make it easier. So what do we need to have a coal mine? A coal mine. So we're not going to have any cinema or fire station or grocery store or hospital. We will have a are we going to have, yes, we'll have a kindergarten because we will have people living up there. We are not going to have any playgrounds. No pub. A school. Yes, we will give them a school. No, you know what? We're not even going to do a school. We're going to have the students take the bus down to go to school. Or the train, whichever. I think train. Let's do train. That'd be more fun. No shopping. No nothing. So we'll have a kindergarten up there just so they can drop the kiddies off. And everything else will be zeros. So now, to have a coal industry, a coal can produce 120. Now, just to see how, I already know the answer, but I'll show you just to be showing you. We need 375 coal to match the production of the steel mill. So 375 and 120 is 360. So we need at least 3 of these coal industries. Whoops. 3 would be that number. We need 3 coal industries at least. We could do 4. But let's do 3 coal industries. And we're not really doing steel. Okay, so we need 3 coal industries to match out what we can do with for the steel, what the steel is going to need. And we're going to need 630 coal ore. That's a lot of coal ore. We're going to have to really make sure we get enough people up here in the coal mine. Now, the way I've got the coal and the iron ore, I've got this column called additional workers. So what you do is say, okay, I have a coal mine. Coal mines need 225 people because I've got the coal driven off the coal ore processing plant. So I don't really have a thing that you go up here and say I want to put in coal ore. So the 225 additional workers is what you need for the coal ore. And so that says we need 675 to get our 3-to-1 ratio. And 30 people for the kindergarten and 135 for the industry workers. But the truth of the matter is that for our town up on top, we don't even have the coal industry. That's the interesting thing about this. We just have a bunch of workers, the 225 times 3 plus the kindergarten, and that's actually all we need up there on top. And we'll get some babies and students, and even at that, we still need 8 of these big flats. How about something, can we build something a little more, wow, 18 flats. Okay, if we put a train line a small train platform up here, and a regular train platform to be in the center of our city somewhere. Okay. And we'll run electrified. Okay. Let's see. Sorry. One reason I don't show you when I'm doing this that often is because I do tend to have these long pauses while I'm either thinking or losing my concentration. I'm not sure which. Let's see. Okay, so what did I say? Kindergarten, one kindergarten and 1875s. What's a 75 look like? Looks like that is a prefab. Can we try something different? Well, that's not bad. No, that's the one we used near the college. What's different here? It's not too small. I don't want these really small ones. They're a pain. Oh, these are kind of neat. I don't think they're that efficient, but they're kind of neat. It only holds 174 people. Now, one thing to keep in mind, these flats do not need to be connected to a road at all. As long as they have a path connection, ambulances and fire trucks can get to them if they have a path connection. Of course, if they don't have any connection, a path or anything, they're worthless anyway. So that's kind of one of those problems is not a problem. So as long as we can get to, let's put our kindergarten right here in the middle. Like that. And let's make sure we got pathing going in both directions. So as long as every flat we place, no matter where we put it out here, anywhere, as long as it can get to this, this, and this, these three items, the kindergarten, the train station, and the coal mine, it is a useful place to put. It's going to do everything it needs to do. It's going to be a fully functional flat, so to speak. So let's loop around. And you have to be careful. You can't run it'd be tempting. I've done this before with other buildings. You can't go like that and think you've got this connection going through. They won't go through. So we need to loop around. Now we can have a connection like this. Now, if I can do it correctly, we can. And maybe we can't. That's the back end. So you can't even connect. Actually, I don't think that's actually connected. See, it's not actually connected to this. This is connected. This is where they come in. This side, that's not even connected. That looks like it's connected, but it isn't. So we'll get rid of that road. That road is pretty worthless. Okay. All right, let's put 13 flats. Let's try those. What size were they? Just to be different. Let's see, 174. Is that it? Yeah, let's do the 174s. And I'm going to put one just to remind me what they look like. And the great thing about not having to put roads for them is, as we know, these paths will go up and down hills like crazy. I mean, these people are part mountain goat for sure. So they can get up and down these hills like you wouldn't believe. And in fact, we can put a pathing through the middle of this and connect these up pretty well. Okay, so 174. How many do I need of those? 174. I need 7 with some leftovers, so I could do 8 or 174 and something maybe a little smaller. So that's 1. Let's put a path right behind this. like so. That's 2. Three. Four. One, two, three, four. Sorry, I've already forgotten how many I need. 7 plus 100, basically. Need 3 more of these. Let's just see how far out we're getting here. See, it's a pretty good hike. Can get to everything, so it's good. We can certainly put another one down through here. We could turn it. Let's see if we can put one more right here. Okay, might need to fix the terrain, and let's see if we can get away with not doing that. Let's just see if we can put one somewhere else. We can give it a road access if it's easy. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Okay, it can still get everywhere it needs to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two more. One right here would be a nice fit. That's 6. And one more. Well, let's make sure this one's good. Okay, he cannot get to the kindergarten. Let's see if we can fix that with a path like that. Now he can. Okay, that path fixed that problem. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one more. Hanging off this ledge would work just fine, or in here somewhere would work if it'll fit. I don't know that it will though. Oops, wrong one. No way. Okay, can't get to the kindergarten, but I believe we can fix that. Okay, so let's put a crossing. Now for our passenger trains, we don't have to have, the crossing can be pretty close to the actual station because we're going to run trains, short trains. It's better to have frequent small passenger trains than try to have big ones that pick up a whole mess of people and then, whoops, that's wrong. That needs to be two direction, and one direction out. All right, and now we can put a path. Oh, let's see if a path across like this will allow this guy to get to the kindergarten, and it will. All right, beautiful. So we've got our 7. We need 106 people. So 106. A couple of 50s would be good enough. A couple of 51s would do, especially if they would fit in a nice tight spot like here. And they will. Can he get to the... Okay, he can't get to the mine. See if we can fix that. He can't get to the mine. The challenge with the mine is there's only the entrance here. The mine is not set up with any path connections, so you have to get all the way over here. Well, if you can't go to the mine, we're not interested in having you. Two more. All right. Housing. 51. And okay, that one can get to all 3, and we need one more. Now the other thing is they're doing some of this walking on these mud paths rather than sidewalks. So if we were to put nice sidewalks in here, that might allow us to build one right there, which is what I'd really like to do. So let's try that. Let's put in sidewalks, and let's go to auto build for this, because I'm pretty happy. This is fine the way it is. All right, let's see if we put in a 51 right here now. Oops, I auto build it. Stop right there. Can it walk to? Still can't get there. Okay, maybe right here. There we go. So we have our 7 large flats and 2 of the smaller flats. They can all reach the coal ore. They can all reach the train station. They can all reach the kindergarten. We'll have the train station allow students and passengers. We'll build schools down here for the students. And of course all our shopping down here. And that should give us a nice coal production up here, and we're still at 57%. Of course, we haven't actually built these, but we have put in roads and stuff right over top of the deposits, and everything's still cool. So far, so good. So what we want to do now is think about our coal production, and we can do it right down here, fairly close to this, so we can have a nice, short, inexpensive conveyor system. And I think what we'll do is have conveyor down to a storage, and the storage will split into 2 storages, and then each of the 2 will feed 2 coal ore processing plants, and then our little city for it will be right here to, well, it'll probably be further down. We'll be down here to support the 4 coal ore processing plants, and then we'll have a train loading down here somewhere, similar to the Ironton one, and that train will initially grab coal here, run over here, hook up with our track, and run down and export it to Molna. And then after we get that going, we'll convert all those exports over to carrying off to our steel mill. So, all right, so the next thing we need is the downtown. So I'm going to stop right there. That's kind of the process that I go through when I'm trying to build these things. And I do like these kind of haphazard looking builds that look like they were just, you followed the land. If you notice, it didn't, in this particular case, didn't do any landscaping anywhere, no terraforming, just followed the land, let it dictate where the buildings went within the constraints of what I wanted, which was every house, every flat needs to get to the three things it needs to get to: the workplace, the station to take students and passengers downtown, and the kindergarten to drop off the kiddies. So there we go. There's the process I go through for the building. And we're not even close to done, of course, because now we've got to, like I said, we've got to get the coal ore processing. That'll be down here. And we've got to get the downtown. So I think what I'll do, I'll build the downtown off camera, because we've done that before. That's kind of yawn. I'll get that built down here. And then when I come back, we will go through this planning process again for the coal ore processing, and we'll walk through that piece by piece, so that in case you're struggling with that, or if you want to see an example of it, you can see how I kind of line up all those conveyors and the storage and the coal ore processing and the shipments and all that stuff. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Workers and Resources Soviet Republic video. Thank you.